The surrender of Vicksburg on July 4, 1863, sent shockwaves across the country. The strategic significance was as clear then as it is to historians today.
Vicksburg is the key. The war can never be brought to a close until that key is in our pocket. We can take all the northern ports of the Confederacy, and they can defy us from Vicksburg. President Abraham Lincoln.
Well, I mean, that really begs the question, Tony. Why didn't the Confederates do more to stop Lincoln from putting Vicksburg in his pocket? Grant's army probed and attacked for a solid 6 months before he finally put the city under formal siege, a siege that took another 6 grueling weeks to complete. The question is, why didn't the Confederate High Command do anything about it or respond? They had so many chances.
Well, Keith, do you want the long answer or the short answer? Next week on Little Wars TV, we'll explore the long answer with a fascinating operational war game. But today, let's stick to the short version. The entire Confederacy was fully aware of the threat to Vicksburg long before the city came under siege. In the winter of 1862, President Davis personally toured the defenses with General John Pemberton. As Grant's efforts to capture the city intensified, war cabinet meetings were held in Richmond. All of the South's leading military minds weighed in with strategic advice. The President, the Secretary of War, Robert E. Lee, James Longstreet, Braxton Bragg, Joseph Johnston, and of course Pierre Gustave Toutant Beauregard.
You just wanted an excuse to say his full name, didn't you?
You can't help but fall into a Southern accent when you say it.
So how did these supposedly great military minds decide to save Vicksburg?
Davis appointed General Joseph E. Johnston to assemble a relief army. With manpower already stretched thin, the Confederate War Cabinet agreed that Robert E. Lee should send Pickett or Hood's divisions west, maybe even both of them, some 13,000 veteran troops. Longstreet lobbied to personally lead the effort. Next week on Little Wars TV, we're going to explain why that transfer never happened.
And I'm really curious to know what could have happened if Lee fully endorsed the plan. Next week, we'll fight an operational war game right here in Mississippi to find the answer. Historically, Confederate attempts to relieve Vicksburg came too late and amounted to too little.
Remember, in the spring of 1863, Vicksburg isn't the only Confederate crisis. There are federal armies deep into Tennessee and Virginia, along with coastal attacks on major ports. There are a lot of fires to fight and not enough resources to fight them all at once.
Wherever you want to place the blame, the recommended reinforcements from Lee never came west, and the army Johnston eventually assembled in Mississippi made only a half-hearted effort to break Grant's siege. Yeah, but what if Lee did send Longstreet, and what if Johnston had the balls to actually attack Grant?
Subscribe to Little Wars TV and tune in next week for the answers.
Of a de Vicksburg.
Of a de Vicksburg.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got stuff in his hands, so.
Stay tuned
I was wondering about the
for
whole
next week's episode. We talk more about Greg's sweat.
All
I dare
right.
you to leave that in the blooper reel.
Yes.